Yeah.
Yeah. According to Islam, you have a soul, right?
Yes.
When you die, you go up to paradise. And
No.
where do you go?
Your soul returns to God.
Returns to God. And can you explain that? What is that?
Your question has to be specific.
So I asked that you said it. What did you answer to my question?
First of all, you made an assumption that when you die, you go to paradise.
Yeah. That's what Islam says,
Then
right?
I said, no, it doesn't say it so.
So where in the Quran it says that your soul goes to Allah.
You go back to God.
It goes back to God. So
Yeah.
what is God then?
What is what?
What is God?
What is God? Now, when we are
Yeah.
speaking English, are you asking me God as a small letter G or God as in capital letter G?
As the capital letter.
The capital
God.
letter is the
The
creator of
God. We're talking
yeah,
about the God.
the God. He's the creator of
Yeah.
the heaven and the earth.
The
He
creation of the heaven, yeah?
yes, he is in charge of every entity, every creation in the universe. He knows the unseen. He is the knower of the unseen. You understand? He has power over all things. He does whatever he wills. He doesn't associate anybody in his judgment. He is with you wherever you are. He decides on his own. Nobody makes the decisions for him. And he will judge you on the day of judgment.
And so what is the price for when you get to heaven for a Muslim? What do you get?
Well, it is a bigger achievement when you succeed in whatever he has commanded you, and it's a bigger. I can give you the summary. The summary is he has promised you that you'll be in paradise. Let's say, for example, let's say there is a competition that you have to win, and then they tell you the winner gets a holiday trip to this place, and then he'll go to a spa, he'll get free drink, he would get a free hotel. In that aspect, that is, and the aspect of people, you get all these things for free, right? Based on something you have won. So similarly, God now told you this is what he will do to you, or you will gain when you achieve the goal he asked you to achieve. Because according to Quran chapter 39, verse 61, it is only by your achievements that you'll be saved on the day of judgment. So whatever God has asked you to do, which is the righteous act, and you do it, and then you sincerely devote for him, then you get the reward he has promised you.
It's very confusing to me that according to Islam, you get 72 virgin in paradise or heaven.
When you
And
say according to Islam, what do you mean?
according to Islam, according to Quran, according to your what is it called? Imam. You know what is Imam?
According
Imam.
to when you say according to Islam,
Yeah.
I don't
You
know,
get Islam promises you, if you are a good citizen on planet Earth, you
brother.
get those
When you,
prizes.
when you say according to Islam, are you trying to make Islam as an object or an entity?
Islam is a religion,
Aha.
right?
So where did you get the religion from?
You get that it is a belief, right?
From
That
where? From
there
where?
is
Where do I find that?
you have to accept Islam. If you are a Muslim, you have to accept Islam. You have to accept the Quran and Prophet Muhammad and
Uh,
Allah,
brother, brother, listen to
right?
me. Where do I get those beliefs? Where do I get it from?
You get it from the Quran. You believe that Quran is came from God, from a higher power.
Yeah,
right?
but well, brother, the Quran doesn't tell you you get 72 virgins. It doesn't exist.
So where it says, where in the Hadith or the Quran, right? It says that
It
you
it
get those
says
prices. It's
it
so
it
it's
says, brother, listen. It
yes,
says
yes.
in the fabricated Hadith books, not from the Quran. The Quran doesn't tell you you get 72 virgins. What do you need that for?
Yeah, exactly. Because just your soul get into the heaven. But if I get 72 virgins, what can I do with that? If Islam promises you 72 virgins,
Brother,
but your body is
let,
here, only your
let,
soul gets there.
brother, let's talk about what the Quran says. I don't have time for useless, informations. Forget about the useless news from the Hadith books. Tell me what the
All right.
Quran says.
I'm
Ask
listening.
me a
I'm
question
listening.
on the Quran. You
I'm
came to ask
listening.
a question, right?
Sorry.
You came to ask me a question, right?
Yes, I did.
Ask me a question based on the Quran. This is the book where I derive my faith from.
So
So,
this is not in the Quran what I asked you, right?
no, it's not.
You don't believe in the Hadith.
No.
You only believe in the Quran, right?
Mind you, let me correct you. Let me correct you. When we say the Hadith, the
Yeah.
Quran itself is the Hadith. If you use the word the Hadith, just like I asked you about God, when you
Yes.
said define God or who is God, then I ask you, what do you mean? Which of the God? Is it the small g or big G? Then you said the capital G. Then I
So
define
can
the
you
God.
define between the capital and what is it called? My English is very limited. I'm sorry. My
Yeah, the
English is very
capitals.
limited. But
The capitals. But what are you asking me now? Are you asking me about the Hadith or are you asking me about the
I
God?
asked you, you don't believe in the Hadith. In the Hadith, I said.
Yes. Then I will say which Hadith?
So how many Hadiths is there? Like there is a Sahih Bukhari. Do you believe in Sahih Bukhari?
It is not from God. So I don't believe that.
Do you which Hadith do you believe then?
The one in the Quran, Asana al-Hadith, chapter 39, verse 23. The Quran is the best Hadith.
So Quran is a Hadith. You're
Yeah,
saying
it is the Hadith. The
it is the
Hadith.
Hadith.
Yes.
It's
The
very
other one,
interesting.
the other ones like Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Jamia Tirmizi, Abu
Sahih
Dawood,
Muslim.
Nisa,
You
Sahih
don't
Muslim.
believe on those. You don't believe. You
I don't
don't.
see what God never asked me to believe in such books.
So and another thing is what is makes me question the Quran is you have the right to beat your wife. Isn't that true?
No, it's not true.
It was a Surah no Nos, or what was it in Surah Nos?
Are you talking about Quran chapter 4, verse 34?
I don't memorize it right, but I can find it here in the
Yeah,
Google.
it is chapter 4, verse 34. It's just a
Yeah, it says
mistranslation.
that you have the right to hit your wife.
No, it doesn't.
What it says in the chapter.
It says you should renounce them. You can separate from them, not to beat them. If it says you should beat them, then the question I will ask whoever says the Quran says we should beat women, how do we have to beat them?
It says you have to first it doesn't say at the first you have to tell them that you don't do this. If they don't listen to you, you have to separate. You don't have sex with them, right? You don't sleep with them, and and
Yeah.
then it says after if they don't if it didn't work, if it didn't work, you can beat them. Beat them like don't break his her bones. Don't, you understand me?
Brother, you are talking from the Hadith books again. Those things you are saying is not in the Quran.
So you say Quran is a hadith. You
It is
say
the
Quran is
Hadith.
a hadith.
I'm telling you what you are saying is from the Hadith books. Listen to me carefully. Hadith books. There is a difference between saying Hadith books and saying the Hadith.
So you tell me what is it in the Quran? You're saying that it's not in the Quran that you have the right to beat a woman. It's not
Yes,
in the Hadith.
I'm going to explain to you. Have patience. I'm going to explain
Please,
that part.
please.
Now, when you start from chapter 4, verse 34, you have to read the context up to verse 35. Whilst I'm explaining, I'll ask you some questions so that I see if you're following or not. In Quran chapter 4, verse 34, it says, men are guardians over women because of what God favors some of them over others, and because of what they spend from their wealth. Thus, the righteous women will obediently guard in their absence by what God maintains. As for those whom you fear their discord, which means if the man who is taking care of a woman, listen carefully, a man who is a guardian of a woman, he takes care of her financially, he is in charge. And then he fears her discourse, meaning the argument, and there is no shoes, there is no understanding, there's no agreement. Then now God says, then admonish them. So you give an advice, you admonish them, right? Then he says, and then abandon them in beds, because maybe you're admonishing the person, she's not listening to you.
Yeah,
So
that's
then
what I said. You don't have sex with them.
Yes, you abandon them in bed,
Yeah, yeah.
because when you deprive that from your wife, it becomes a
Yeah.
problem. Even if a wife does the same to her husband, it becomes a problem. So now I'll be coming to also the wife, how she can deal with the husband. But it is not about beating. So let's check. Then he says, and renounce them. The word adribuhunna doesn't literally here means to beat in this context.
What it says
For
there.
instance, I'll give an example. In the Quran, God has used the word daraballahu mathala or yadribullahu li amsal. When we say daraballahu li mathal, it doesn't necessarily mean God is beating examples or God is striking like with his hands or something examples. No, it has nothing to do with beats. It is just linguistically how people have to understand one word can have multiple meanings. You don't always have to assign one meaning to a word. For instance, brother, before I explain this verse, I'm giving an example. Do you watch football?
Sometimes.
So if I tell you Manchester United killed Barcelona, does it mean they used knife and guns to kill them?
No, it doesn't mean that.
Exactly. You have to check the context and the subject of discussion. When you see a word,
it really means that it says that you can beat your wife, but you are saying it doesn't mean to beat.
And I'm giving you the example. You are speaking.
Why you're saying it doesn't mean? It says
but
you can
are
beat.
speaking, brother. You are speaking from English. I'm helping you to understand. Are you listening? I'm
listening. Yeah, listen.
The word daraba. Are you an Arabian?
No.
You are not, right?
I don't speak any Arabic. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. The word daraba doesn't always mean beat, just like the word kill doesn't always mean to murder somebody.
So what does it say when it says
in this context,
right?
Listen to me. In this context, it means when you have a wife and you admonish her, she's not listening. The second option is to abandon her in the bed.
Yeah.
If she's still not listening, then you renounce her. The renunciation is like separation. You separate. Don't you hear of couples getting separated? It's different from divorce.
Get separated. Yeah, for sometimes you get a break. You give a break, right?
Exactly. You take a break. That is the separate. That is a renouncing. You renounce. So you take a break.
Yeah, go on.
That break is to give her time to reflect. So let's check the context of the verse. So then God says what? He said, then admonish them and then abandon them in the beds and renounce them. Then he says, but if they obey you, so after you have separated from them, if now they obey you, listen what God says, then do not seek a means or a way against them. God gave you three options. If they should obey you after the third instance that you have done, and now they have obeyed you, what else is there to be done? Nothing else. Then he says, indeed, God is supreme and then magnificent. Now, verse 35, this is where I'll end. He said, and if you fear dissension between them both, which is between the man and the woman, and this God is telling the judge, whoever is going to judge these two, if you fear that this dissension will continue, this is what God is saying, then send an arbitrator, or we can say arbiter, somebody who represents a judge from her family, from his family, and from what? Her family. You also send the same from her family. So meaning somebody who represents her as a judge from her family will come, and somebody who represents the man as a judge for the man will also come. Then you sit them down. Then God says what? If they intend to reconcile between themselves, God will grant success. Indeed, God is omniscient and cognizant. Now, there is no notion of beat. Now let's imagine there is the notion of beat. Why do you think God put that verse 35 there, telling you to bring a judge from her family and a judge from the man's family? Are you going to sit down in front of these judges and say you slap your wife? Which judge from her family will sit down for you to say you have been slapping his sister or daughter?
Can you ask me again? I didn't really get as I said, my English is very limited.
No problem. I said, based on the context I just explained to you, verse 34 to verse 35. And I said the word doraba there doesn't mean beat. If somebody says it means beat, are you going to tell me this same God who is giving you wisdom will tell you beat the woman, but then if she doesn't listen, go and call a judge from her family and call a judge from your family, come and sit down and reconcile. And reconcile with what? The beatings?
Reconcile. I haven't read that 35, but I have seen that 34 means you have three choices when you have a problem, or if you in the house with your wife, you have three choices. First, you tell her that speak to her. If she doesn't obey you, you get separated, like you don't have sex with her. If it doesn't work, then you beat her, like it says, literally beat her, like don't break her bones. You have the right to beat her. So yadribuhunna, it means beat her up.
Brother,
So that was my question. You told me about other stories, like it makes sense what are you saying, but what kind of God would say to a husband, beat your wife? That's my question.
it
What
is not
kind
the
of
God.
God?
It is not the God of the Quran. It is the God of the Hadith books. They are trying to explain the Quran in that fashion to mean that you have to beat your wives. God never asked you to beat your wives. When you see one word in the Quran, it doesn't always mean the same thing. You have to check the
But you
subject.
say you don't believe in the hadith, in other hadiths.
I believe in the Hadith, which is the Quran. I don't
Yeah.
believe in the other Hadith books. That is the
So
difference.
is hadith and the Quran the same book?
What?
Yeah. Is hadith is hadith and Quran the same thing?
The Quran can be called the Hadith. I keep using the word there.
The
There is a
hadith.
marifa, adatul tarif. The marifa,
Yeah.
the is to give you a specificity. I'm
The hadith.
specifying
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
word. I say
So
the
you
hadith.
don't believe in anything else except Quran.
If it is not coming from God, then it's a waste of time.
The last question. The last question. Okay, please.
Yeah.
The last question is where does four wives come from? Why four wives in Islam? Isn't that
God
a bit misogynistic?
is a condition. God, the God who created Adam, he didn't even give Adam 4 wives. He gave Adam 1 wife. If it was God's concept to be giving you 4 wives, he could have started with Adam. It is the choice of a human being. According to God, Quran chapter 4, verse 129, if you have multiple wives, you can never be able to do just between women. You can never be able to be just when you have multiple wives, right? So God is not encouraging you to have 4 wives. Chapter 4, verse 3 is only talking in the context of orphans. When you have orphans in your care and they reach the age of marriage, that is when
You didn't get my question. You didn't. Why God give that right? Why did it give to men to have 4 wives? Why?
Why did
That's
he
the
what?
question. Yeah, why did he give the right to a man to have a 4 wives? Why
Brother,
did he say that?
I'm explaining the context to you. Were you paying attention at all?
Yeah, I'm paying attention, but why?
So
Why did
where?
he?
Now quote me a verse where God says every man should marry 2, 4, or 4 wives. Quote
No,
me the
no, no,
verse.
no, 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 no. That wasn't the question. That question.
What is the
Why did
question?
he in the first place say that a man can have 4 wives? Why?
Where did he say that? Where did he say that?
You're denying this question. You're denying
I
this
didn't
question.
deny. Do you understand simple dialogue, brother?
I asked a question, but you're saying that you don't have an answer to it, right?
And I'm asking you, where did he say that? Do you understand English? Hello?
Yeah, I understand you, but I asked
Good.
you a question. Don't you know yourself where it says?
I don't know the way you are asking. Your question is wrong. That's why I'm correcting you. I said, where did he say that?
In the Quran somewhere, but I don't remember
Show
it.
me.
I don't memorize Quran right now. But I know that
Brother,
where
that
where where in the Quran and why? Where in the Quran and why it says that a man have the right to have 4 wives?
he doesn't say that. God doesn't say anywhere and say, oh, a man has the right to marry 4 wives. There's no verse like that in the
So
Quran.
why Muslim nowadays have the right to have 4 wives? Where it comes from, that
That is
idea?
go and ask the Hadith books. They are the ones telling you that. Those Hadith books, they are telling you those things.
So you're saying that all those other books except Quran is just nonsense and useless. You don't have the right to.
Brother, I've already answered you.
Yeah, you say it, but I'm still saying that you.
Brother, thank you. Let me take next caller. Thank you for your time. I appreciate
All right,
your
thank you,
time.
thank you.
Thank you very much.